I never thought the color of my pool would trigger a full-blown emergency. But that's exactly what happened last Saturday morning when two squad cars pulled into my driveway, lights flashing like I'd committed some unholy act. I was mid-sip in my coffee robe, watching the sunrise when I heard the knock firm, almost theatrical. The officer's face was polite but puzzled. "Sir, we received a complaint from the HOA president about a possible chemical violation. Your pool water is too blue." Too blue. I laughed, thinking it was a prank. But then I saw her Karen standing across the street in her sun hat of judgment, arms crossed like she was queen of suburbia. That same Karen who once tried to fine a veteran neighbor for flying his flag too high. Now, apparently, she had declared war on water tint. I invited the officers into the backyard, showed them the filtration system, the perfectly legal chlorine setup, and my state inspection certificates. They exchanged glances and shrugged. "Looks fine to us," one said, "but the HOA's pushing for an investigation." That word investigation-ited something deep in me. Because what Karen didn't know was this: I wasn't just a resident in this community, I was its silent backbone. The majority stakeholder of the development firm that owned the very HOA she paraded around as her throne. Months ago, after watching her torment nearly every neighbor over petty violations, I quietly bought out 3 smaller investors in the HOA's ownership group. I let her play president while I stayed in the shadows, taking notes, collecting proof of her vendettas, like the time she fined a single mom for excessive wind chimes, or yelled at a teenager for mowing his lawn at 6 p.m. But this pool stunt? This was personal. It was loud, humiliating, public. And it was time. I filed a motion with the HOA's legal board that same afternoon, one she didn't even know I had the power to file. It listed 10 infractions, all documented, including abuse of authority, harassment, and misuse of HOA funds for personal yard beautification. The twist? I included sworn testimonies from 6 neighbors, 3 of whom Karen had driven to tears. One of them, her own vice president, a timid older woman named Janice who'd always smiled but never spoke up until now. When Karen got the certified letter, she lost it. Marched across my lawn without invitation and screamed, "You're trying to ruin me." I stayed calm, sipping my coffee again, only this time from a lawn chair by the very blue pool that started it all. I said, "Karen, I'm not ruining anything. I'm just revealing the truth you buried." The real drama unfolded at the next emergency HOA meeting. Karen walked in like she still ran the room, only to find half the neighborhood seated with copies of the motion in hand. I sat at the head of the table. She froze. "You can't be here, this is HOA business," she barked. I leaned in. "Karen, I am the HOA surprise." Her jaw dropped. Janice, bless her brave heart, stood up with her statement in hand. "I've been silent too long," she began, voice trembling. What followed was a raw, tearful recount of the bullying, the manipulation, the guilt trips. By the end, even some of Karen's former allies were shifting uncomfortably in their seats. We voted that night. Karen was removed from office, permanently barred from leadership roles in any future community council. She tried to threaten a lawsuit, but every paper she filed bounced back. Why? Because she'd unknowingly signed a clause when accepting her position that allowed the majority shareholder me to override her with just cause. Days later, her once pristine lawn turned brown. Her custom HOA president sign came down. And that sun hat? Haven't seen it since. I didn't do this out of spite. I did it for every neighbor who'd been silenced, shamed, or shunned for living their lives. I did it to show that power doesn't equal righteousness, and sometimes, the quiet ones hold the sharpest swords. Now, the neighborhood feels lighter. Kids laugh in the park again. Flags wave freely. And my pool? It's still as blue as ever, bluer, even. What do you think? Was I right to take her down this way, or did I go too far? Comment your thoughts below, especially if you've ever had your own HOA nightmare. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got more stories where this lawsuit splash came from.